Welcome to State Bar of Michigan's On Balance podcast, where we talk about practice management and lawyer wellness for a thriving law practice with your hosts, Joanne Hathaway and Tish Vincent, here on Legal Talk Network. Take it away, ladies.
Hello, and welcome to another edition of the State Bar of Michigan's On Balance podcast on Legal Talk Network. I am Robert Mathis, Pro Bono Service and Justice Initiatives Counsel with the State Bar of Michigan, sitting in today for your regular hosts, Joanne Hathaway and Tish Vincent. We are live from the State Bar of Michigan's next conference, 2018, and joining me today, I have Kara Hart-Negrich from the Young Lawyers section. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
All right, before we get started, please tell us about yourself.
Well, I am the incoming chair to the Young Lawyers section, which is the State Bar of Michigan's largest section. We are a mandated membership section.
How many members approximately do you have?
Well, first, I'd like to say that I am speaking here on behalf of the Young Lawyers section and not as an attorney for the state of Michigan. But now that said, we have about 8,000 members throughout the state of Michigan in the Young Lawyers section.
Right, awesome. So you want to tell us about the membership base of the Young Lawyers section?
Yeah, the membership base is, it's an automatic membership where if you pass the bar in Michigan, you are automatically a member of the Young Lawyers section. And not a lot of people are aware of that when they first become lawyers. So that's something that I am hoping to make more apparent to everyone and have more people be involved in the section.
So as far as the membership of the Young Lawyers section, so it's a range of ages?
Yes. Yep. It does not matter how old you are. If you have just passed the bar and you're 75, you are still a member of the Young Lawyers section for, I believe it's 5 to 10 years. I should get that right, but off the top of my head, I don't know.
Right. So what kind of events does the Young Lawyers section have coming up over the next year?
Well, we do both educational events for our members. So we will have trainings and get to know judges, that kind of thing. And we also do public interest events. So we'll do things like helping out in soup kitchens or expungement projects, which is kind of both an educational and a public service event. But we also have networking events for our members. Because of the Keller ruling, we actually can't have simply networking events. We do actually have to have some sort of a legal training in the event basis. So that can complicate our process.
So usually in July or August of each year, the Young Lawyers section puts on a Young Lawyers orientation.
We do. That's something that started 4 or 5 years ago. At first, it was connected to our summit, which is our annual big event that we put on. It was really popular about 5 years ago when we had it the day before the summit and got the word out about the summit as well. But yes, so the orientation is something that we put on for the newest lawyers and just go over what it means having your P number now, and yeah.
So Kara, would you like to share some of your plans for the upcoming bar year?
Yeah. Well, one of the big things that I want to do is to create a committee that will both revise our bylaws, because it's been 7 or 8 years since the latest bylaws had been put into place. And I'd also like to change the name from Young Lawyers section to the New Lawyers section or some other form of that, just so that we can have more inclusion in this section because of the name currently. A lot of people that maybe didn't go straight into law school after undergrad aren't comfortable being a part of the section, even though they automatically are.
So obviously the Young Lawyers section as it is now named,
Yes.
covers the entire state of Michigan, which is the Lower Peninsula and the Upper Peninsula.
Yes, yep.
So what plans do you have for reaching those up in the UP?
Well, right now we have one council member who is from Marquette. She does drive the 7 hours to our meetings often. And so Mark Jane, actually, who was the past chair, he started a UP committee. So last year we had an event up in the UP that drew quite a few people. And so I would like to continue with that UP committee and get more people, more young and any aged lawyers from Northern Michigan and the UP to be more involved and tend to know that we, as a section, are working for them and have them in mind too.
So, Kara, if I was a member of the Young Lawyers section, as it is currently named, and there was an event coming up, and I wasn't really sure why I should attend, what are some of the benefits of attending?
Well, it's a great experience. You can often learn something about a different area of law. We do training, so if you're not familiar with, say, probate, we could do a training on that. You'll learn about new areas of the law, but you'll also meet other practitioners of the law and other newer lawyers, as well as more seasoned lawyers who help with networking. You can find jobs through various members. It's been useful to me that way as well, and I know that a lot of others have had that experience.
So a lot of people say we should network.
Mm-hmm.
So as far as the Young Lawyers section goes, what does networking really mean? Is it just talking with other attorneys, or what are the benefits maybe aren't as obvious?
Well, I think that we have actually had sort of a mentor-mentee situation a lot of times with council members. So not just networking, but also gaining that knowledge from someone who is more experienced, even though they're still technically a young lawyer, and gaining friendships and other professional relationships can be very useful.
So as you know, the State Bar of Michigan has a Master Lawyers section.
Yes.
So has it been your experience that the Master Lawyers have been willing to become mentors and reach out and bridge that gap with the Young Lawyers section to provide mentorships, and if asked?
I actually am not familiar with specifically the Master Lawyer section reaching out and doing that. We are partnering with the Master Lawyer section for the limited scope representation program, but every other section of the State Bar has been very interested in working with the Young Lawyer section. Each section comes to us numerous times a year asking for either representation at one of our events or to be able to come to our meetings and speak with the Young Lawyer section. They all want a piece of us. So, yeah.
So if you had some young lawyers that you were speaking to, and they were on the fence about attending a Young Lawyers section event, would be the top few favorite reasons for participating in an event?
I think A, networking, and then B, education and training. I think that it can be very useful for other young lawyers to get to know, others in their profession. So yeah, that's about it.
All right. So before we close the podcast out today, would you like to provide your contact information so that some of our listeners could follow up?
Sure. You can contact me at Hart-Negrich, k@michigan.gov. That's my last name, but no dash there. And the first initial of my first name at Michigan, all spelled out, .gov.
Would you like to spell that out for us, for our listeners?
Would you like me to?
Please.
Okay.
Please.
Let's do this. HARTNEGRICHK at MICHIGAN.gov.
Thank you.
No problem.
Well, that's all the time we have for this program. Thank you, Kara, for joining us today.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
I also want to thank our listeners for tuning in. If you like what you heard today, please rate us in Apple Podcasts. I'm Robert Mathis from the State Bar of Michigan. We'll see you next time for another episode of the State Bar of Michigan's On Balance podcast on Legal Talk Network.
Thank you for listening to the State Bar of Michigan On Balance podcast, brought to you by the State Bar of Michigan and produced by the broadcast professionals at Legal Talk Network. If you'd like more information about today's show, please visit LegalTalkNetwork.com. Subscribe via Apple Podcasts and RSS. Find the State Bar of Michigan and Legal Talk Network on Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn. Or download Legal Talk Network's free app in Google Play and iTunes. The views expressed by the participants of this program are their own and do not represent the views of, nor are they endorsed by Legal Talk Network or the State Bar of Michigan, or their respective officers, directors, employees, agents, representatives, shareholders, and subsidiaries. None of the content should be considered legal advice. As always, consult a lawyer.